Hello. Hey guys, thanks so much. Welcome to Paranormal Activity. We're diving in.
Yeah, we are.
We're diving in. It's the day after and hi, I'm Sarah.
I'm Nick.
Yeah, it's the day after Halloween.
The Day of the Dead.
Yeah. What did you get up to?
I went to a friend's party. They have a really nice backyard, so we went.
Ooh.
And they had a fire. We played cornhole, and we made s'mores, and we ate a bunch of good food. And I dressed up as Jackie Daytona, regular human bartender from What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
Oh, nice. Fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I don't dress up. I haven't dressed
really?
up in in a really I went to a Halloween party in 2019 and and it was so stupid. I dressed up as a bit character from Halloween 4. It's the girl who's the daughter of the sheriff, where she answers the door in just a t-shirt that says cops do it by the book.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought that was like a hilarious costume, and then I realized not a lot of people are going to know what that means, but I was like, hey, obscure, so cute. But it really was just going to look like I was like a cop, like I was into cops.
Yeah.
Like it was just not a good time for me to have like a pro cop slogan, which is like, I literally woke up the next morning, I was like, oh my God. I mean, not that I'm specifically.
Everybody was talking about it. I was like, wow, it's weird. She just came pro cop. That
was her whole costume, but just being pro cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a friend came in a very niche costume that like 2 people got, and it's apparently from some video in the 80s that is gaining a lot of traction on Twitter. And it was very funny. And it was very silly. And she's throwing a party tonight, and I think I'm gonna dress as her as she was last night.
Amazing.
Just to make fun of her. Yeah.
Genius.
Also, today is not Day of the Dead. Tomorrow is Day of the Dead, November 2nd.
Second.
To clear that up. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I always think it's the 1st, but it's not. It's like All Saints Day or something. Anyways.
Well, when I publish this, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be Who knows what day it is?
Who knows? I might just lose this entirely. No, I'm just kidding. We get it. So I watched. Over the weekend that we had like a monster weekend a little bit. So I watched The Host, which I'd never seen and was amazing. Loved it.
Very good movie.
Loved it. I can't believe it took me so long to watch it because I love monsters, and it was a great monster, and it was just and I love all those people. So yeah, that was really, really good. And then we followed that up with Tremors 2.
Tremors 2.
Hilarious.
I love that film. I love that film.
Michael Gross carries it.
Oh, Michael Gross is so great. He becomes the tentpole for that whole franchise. He becomes like the whole but because the first one's great. First one's fantastic. You know, you got Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, like it's just, and Reba McEntire and Michael Gross, and it's just just an incredible, like, weird little horror movie. These weird worm monsters that I remember when it came out, and then they made there's a bunch of sequels. But the second one's like a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and I love how they just make them like those little creatures that can go on land and eat people.
They came out of the ground, and now they're and instead of motion, they're attracted to heat. I looked it up, and Kevin Bacon was supposed to be in it, and then they dropped the budget down to $4 million, and then he wasn't in it anymore.
I bet you they couldn't afford him anymore. They were like, sorry, but
and like $4 million, like you can see it. It's precious. It's precious. It was. I'm glad we watched it, and also just like those, you got to just like love it for the people. They're just playing it so hard. It was great. It was fun.
Oh yeah, they're having a good old time at the same time. Yeah.
And then I watched. Well, we could talk about My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, that was. I don't know what I was expecting. I just went into it on the recommendation, and wow, what a like. It's not. It's like you mentioned, like it's not like necessarily horror. You know, it's not like. I mean, there's like a lot of blood, and I guess it's horror, but it's like a beautiful family drama, and the acting is incredible. And yeah, what were your thoughts? Let's hear from you.
No, I agree. Because I'd always heard about it, and I was like, I kind of went in a little bit like, I'm gonna just see what this is, and right away I was like, oh my God, this is a movie. It's a family drama. It's about 2 siblings that have to take care of their. If you just went, hey, last night I saw a movie. What is it? It's about these 2 siblings that are stuck taking care of their ailing brother. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sounds like a really good drama. Sounds
Hmm.
and it is. It just so happens that he's a vampire. He's a
Yeah.
vampire, and they don't play the. I love how they very quietly are like he needs blood
Hmm.
and he needs to sustain. He's very weak though. It kind of they make it more of a disease than any kind of thing, and then they start to like you kind of see the hints of like he can't be in the sun, and but he's not like other than that it's not a traditional vampire. He doesn't attack people, he doesn't get super strong, he can't fly, he can't hypnotize, he doesn't have teeth. He
Mm-mm.
just it's like anemic. Is that when you like your blood
Yeah.
is yeah, so he's like it's like a super it's like being super anemic and sun exposure, and they make it this disease, and it's just so interesting. um and because of this, it's this disease that like they can't just take him to a doctor,
Hmm.
so these siblings have to kill people, and how it weighs, like how it weighs on the brother, which is Patrick Fugit.
Fugit. Yeah.
Fugit,
Patrick
yeah,
Fugit.
from Almost Famous and a bunch of other films. um
He was so good. He was such a, I hate, this is going to sound dumb. He was such just a guy.
yeah, he
He
was
was
such a
so just a guy.
he was well because he was it was so good at just being, because he was just a guy, because he just wants a regular life. He
Yeah.
wants the simplest, because he'll take anything other than what he's going through. And
Yeah.
like I love when he's with that sex worker and he's just always like, can we just talk, can we just
Yeah.
like hang out? He just
Oh,
wants to
so,
like, and he
so
talks about that.
vulnerable. He's just in his
Yeah,
tidy whities. So it's just like, hey,
yeah,
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 I mean, it is like, and that's kind of like, like family care, like there's caretaker, uh, stress where it's just like taking, where you have to like, you can't have your own life because your entire life is around taking care of a person. And it's like, you love that person. And it is like, of course you're doing it, but it is that thing of just like, you're keeping someone else alive is kind of robbing you of
yeah,
your life experiences. My God. And yeah, it's one of those sweet things where it's just, I know it's weird to say it was a sweet movie.
yeah. No, yeah, but it really is. Well, their
Yeah.
dynamic was so good, and the sister, which I hadn't really seen her in anything,
Mm-mm.
she's incredible, and I love how she takes on this very matriarchal like position,
Mm-hmm.
and she's so like motherly to the brother, which he's great. He's in a bunch of stuff. He was in X, and he's in that movie. It's a really good movie. It's called Vicious Times, or I'll look it up, but it's a really good it's a really good movie about these kids in high school, and they accidentally kill another kid, and it like how it weighs on like two of them, and
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of like, hey, I think we should, and then the other kid, instead it makes him kind of like, this is kind of cool. Like it's a very interesting film. I don't want
Oh,
to say too much more because it's like but anyways, I'll look up the name. But
yeah.
uh yeah, it's she was great, and just like their dynamic and how you see how they still love each other and how they do the little gifts and stuff and they unwrap
Mm-hmm.
stuff. It's yeah, it was great. It was incredible.
Yeah. I would, I mean, I know we kind of like talked about a lot of, but I think it's still worth seeing, even if you know as much as you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool. Why don't you tell me a little bit about a couple? I have a couple more, but we can get
yeah,
back
yeah.
to.
Let me see the last ones, because there was a bunch. The things that like stood out to me. Okay, so I saw Carnival of Souls for the first time.
Mm,
Which, have you heard of that one?
I've heard of it. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, it's an older film. It's like one of those, like one of the old first, not first, but it was from 1962. Um, Very like kind of Hitchcockian. It's not Hitchcock, but it's like that, black and white, and it's just a good, solid, short little, because they just condense them. They get in, they get out. We talked about that last time
Hmm.
with horror films. It's just good. It's just creepy, and it's neat because it's like, you watch it and you're like, what they've done with horror now, you're like, oh, come on, but you're like, no, no, but this was the movie that influenced a lot of the horror that we like now, and just like what they could do with what they had.
Hmm.
um is incredible. It's on Max. I highly recommend. It's a
Okay.
cool little
Yeah,
watch.
definitely.
um and I did a lot of like rewatches. Scream, When Evil Lurks, which is great. If
Hmm.
you haven't watched that, very, very dreadful movie. Martyrs, which I love. And then I did, yeah, most of these were rewatches because it was a crazy week, so I was like, I can just kind of do stuff. But the new ones that I saw that I hadn't seen, which are actually older films, which were Carnival of Souls, Blood and Black Lace.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
want to know about that. That's the Giallo.
yeah, yeah. It's like one of the original Giallo films, and it's Mario Bava, and it's like it's not the first one. It's just one of the ones that like where he started kind of putting like that Giallo like pulp novel stuff to like the film, and it's a lot of like people regard it as like one of the best like original Giallo films because it's exactly like what you follow by the numbers of like it's all about the style. It's all about the like there's a killer and you don't know who it is and there's like an investigator and they're trying to figure it out, but it's very like kind of sexy, cool and lighting and there's those dark gloves and usually it's like Giallo usually follows like women are being killed and then usually there's a reveal that it's a woman killer in a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a cool stylized film and it's very interesting and like as it unravels and the what who is it is very interesting and it's very cool. I really liked it. I highly recommend that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched House, the
Yeah.
1977. Have you seen it?
Yo, yeah, we saw it at BAM.
Oh,
It's amazing. Yeah.
I so I got high and I watched it because I heard how trippy it was. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, let's take this ride. And I loved it. It was so crazy, and immediately from jump, I was like, whoa, what is happening? And when she pulled the head out of the well, I like literally when she's like going for the watermelon, I think it was Fantasy is pulling out, and it's Mac's head and she's because I'm like all this crazy stuff's happening and there's a part of me that's like oh is this gonna be like a little fun horror fairy tale thing which it is
Yeah.
but no they're getting killed and when she pulls it out I was like if that's not the head please let that be and it is and it comes to life and bites her and I was like I'm this movie's I'm sold I'm with you movie and how it slowly kills them and it's crazy because it came out in 1977, which is the same year as Suspiria, which Suspiria is my all-time favorite horror movie. Love
Right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And they came out the same year. They both have, I mean, Suspiria, like different kind of stories, but not, and it's like the coloring of it, but it's different. It's a different color palette than Suspiria, but not too much. But also, like the soundtrack is done by like one band. Suspiria's got Goblin. Like the colorization, the depiction of like killing of like younger women in a kind of morality kind of thing. A lot of horrors morality tales in a way. But I was like, I mean, then there's a lot of differences too. But I was kind of to me, it kind of felt like the Japanese version of Suspiria, and Suspiria is the Italian version of House. Kind of I saw this hand in hand because to me it was you've seen Miyazaki films, right? Any of them or like Spirited Away or Howl's Moving
Oh yeah.
yeah those whole things it felt like a live action Miyazaki film
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
with like Suspiria and that kind of element. They came out at the same time, so I'm not saying that it stole anything. I think it's just that my brain goes to that because I know Suspiria first.
Mm-hmm.
But like a live action Miyazaki mixed with Suspiria with like a touch of Benny Hill.
Yeah.
And I love it.
It's madcap, and this. I'm gonna butcher the story, but it's like the idea was that he was the director was like a commercial director, and the whole story comes from like his daughter. It was like his daughter was like, "This is what I think your movie like a 6-year-old was like, this is what I think the movie should be," and whatever he told her, whatever she told him, he
wrote it down,
so that's kind of what it is.
And I think no, I think you're right because I was talking to somebody about this last night, and they said the same thing. And I was reading too that I think he shopped it around for a while, and nobody really wanted to like. They're like, and then finally, like the studio was like, "Do you just want to direct it?" And he was like, "Sure, I'll do it." and they were like, "Here you go." And apparently, it did terrible in Japan, and then it came to North America, and we all loved it. We all went wild for it. Everybody was like, "This is great," and then it just became this cult classic. Which is crazy too. Again, on that side, is that Suspiria is based on Dario Argento's his wife, who helped him write it. She's in the movie. She helps him write it early on when they were together, and so I think they had a lot of collaboration for a long time. She helped him out, and she's been in a lot of his movies. But it's based on her either mother or grandmother's, I forget, their story about being in a school as a ballerina and them being like, I think it's run by witches. I think it's run by witches. So it's like, so his wife told him about it, and he was like, "We got to make a movie about it." So it's like there's these weird correlations, and that's where my mind goes because again, I love Suspiria, but yeah, every the lore of it, how it did bad in Japan, it came here and then it became a cult classic. It's based on his daughter's stories, which it does have that element of like, and I felt like he kept that in there too. He's like, I'm not gonna take. It's like when kids draw the drawings and then somebody makes them and but they still keep it weird. And I felt like he was like, I'm not gonna lose the element of a childlike wonder to it. And again, and there's elements of that in Suspiria. I can go on about the duality of these two films.
I never would have put those two together, but now I got to watch them both again.
I want to do that for people. I want to find a big space and do a dual screening and talk about the lore, because I know so much of the lore of Suspiria. Because like he wanted to make it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go on a
do it. Yeah.
Okay. He wanted to make the women in the movie younger. He wanted to make them more like not little girls, but like younger girls, because when you go to a dance school, you usually start pretty young.
Yeah.
But the producers, one of them being his dad, was like, hey, you want to make this film pretty gory, people are not going to be cool with you doing it to too young of girls, so you got to like age them up. And he was like, you're right. But what he did is he kept the dialogue purposefully adolescent. That's why if you watch the movie, they like the way they insult each other are like little girls would on the schoolyard, and like they stick their tongues at each other, and then all the doorknobs are up high to give them an element like they're kids. He still wanted to give that younger element, and like the color palette of the movie is based on Snow White, like that whole kind of thing. And then like he knows he's going to ADR everything, because he usually does, because a lot of those films are like people who don't really speak English well, or they all come from different backgrounds, so he knows he's going to have to like ADR everything.
Yeah.
So the Goblin soundtrack, the songs you're hearing, they were hearing while they were filming for some of the scenes. So like the dread and the eeriness that you get, they're like getting it from that. So like he played that for them and stuff. So there's all this cool stuff and lore to it, and I feel like there's some of that in house too. So I just kept like, as I was reading about it, and I really want to like, I would love to find a place and like just I would do all this research on all of them and get everything, and then just show a dual screen and just talk about both of them, because I feel like there's like this thing there. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I also, after watching House, I was like, I need to see this in a big screen theater immediately with like a group, because I think it would just be a blast.
And yeah, it makes a big difference. That was a great thing about like going to like Bam was always really good about that, and like just like being able to see things on the big screen. What was the other? And IFC Center is also really good. Like they used to, like on Fridays they would have like Aliens and like The Shining and stuff, or it's like stuff that I was too young to see in the theater. Now I can like get that experience. They had a John Carpenter retrospective a couple of years ago, many years ago, and I got to see Prince of Darkness, and that's my favorite movie, and I got to see that in the big screen, and I was like practically weeping, because I was like with my brother, and I was like, this is so important to me, and I'm like tears in my eyes, and then like I'm watching the movie and people are laughing their asses off.
Yeah,
because it's like there are parts of it that are very goofy.
Oh yeah,
oh like,
100%. But it's part of the fun, and I think as long as you're all having a good time and being entertained, IFC did a Argento retrospect earlier this year, and I got to see. I was like, I'm not gonna go see the movies that I've seen of his, because I like, especially Suspiria, I've seen in the theaters countless times, because every time they came to theaters, I got to see this show that they do that I was dying to see forever, and I went last year or the year before. Goblin, which is all the original members are passed away, but they've since replaced them, and they have. But Goblin comes and they show Suspiria and they play live the music. And then afterwards, they play other songs, snippets from like Dawn of the Dead and all that stuff, and they'll play.
Wow.
It was incredible. That was like, for me, I was like, this is everything I've ever wanted.
Yes, that's amazing. That is amazing. I do love Goblin a lot. The Deep Red is the soundtrack. That is like
Deep
so
Red
good.
is such a good movie. That is such a great movie. The lead actress who's amazing, that's his ex-wife now, but that's his wife.
Okay. How funny.
That was his wife at the time. The one that I told you about. Yeah, she's incredible. Yeah, she's incredible.
Awesome. I have a couple other movies.
Go for it. I'm on a rant. Go for it.
So the only ones, no, that's okay. So I also watched, well, I didn't watch all of it, but An Unknown Compelling Force, which is a documentary about the Dilyatov Pass. Do you know anything about that?
It sounds super familiar. I don't the documentary, no, but the the past, you said.
Yeah,
So
so it's just, I mean, it's like there are tons of documentaries about it. I only got halfway through this one, and then I kind of like, I don't know, I just didn't. I really have to go back and finish it. But I only bring it up because it is like it's a fascinating story, and they haven't made like a good movie about it, but it's about like nine like I think they're Russian hikers, like just a group of students, like hike the path, and then they're found dead. Like a month later, they're found dead, and the circumstances are make
insane.
absolutely no sense.
Mhm.
They like cut their way out of their tents. They don't have clothes on. It's like Siberia, freezing cold. Um, some of them
Oh, that's
have like,
interesting.
yeah, they're one of them's lost their one of them has their tongue was bitten out.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else has like radiation burns. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those crazy things where they still to this day don't know
What it was, yeah.
what happened. So there's like lots of theories about it. So it wasn't useful, but I do want to I want to know more about it, and I want to like, but it's
Well,
frustrating because there's no answers.
no, there's no answer. Well,
Yeah.
'cause I was going to say no, because I was like, why have I heard that phrase before? So, my ex, who was also in horror movies, read a lot about this, and that's why I knew about it. They made a movie. They made a horror movie about it,
Hmm.
and it's not very good. And they get real weird, and they turn this sci-fi time loop thing, and they got one of those things like, hey, this is a crazy idea. Let's have our liberties with it. Apparently, the closest answer, I know it's going to be a lot of paraphrasing. The closest answer they got to it was that there was like some research facility or something nearby that was known, and it might have blasted, or some kind of noise sometimes blasts in that area. So they think that in the middle of the night they freaked out and they heard the noise and they ran out, and that's why they didn't have clothes and they cut their way out. And the radiation thing is because there's like radiation activity around there, and then they think some of the messed upness is because A, frostbite, and B, animals just got to them.
Yeah.
That's the most like, this is what we think and would make the most sense.
Yeah.
But again, there's no like, but they're like, but again, that's just like that's just us trying to make sense of everything.
Yeah.
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 And there's something more. They've explained it away. She read a whole book on it and everything, and we talked about it. But that's always been a fascinating thing to me too. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of want to. I want to learn more about it. But an unknown compelling force was recommended to me. It's supposed to be a really good one. So half of that. And then like my partner came home, we had dinner, and then like I had rented it on Amazon, and it elapsed. That's fine. I watched also Pulse. I wanted to rewatch that because I've been like reading up and researching stuff about like techno horror because I'm trying to like write something about it, and like it's. I mean, do you remember? Did you see Pulse?
You're talking about the original one, right?
Yeah,
The American version. Okay.
Yeah.
So sadly, I've only seen the American version, which is atrocious.
Yeah.
Because I saw it when it first came out in theaters. I didn't want to. I was with a group of friends in college, and my friend was like had a huge crush on Kristen Bell, so he was like, "Can we go see this?" And I was like, "It looks terrible," and we went to go see it, and it was. But I haven't seen the original. I want to though. I heard the original's great.
It's really good, and it's I mean it's very early 2000s. It's very early 2000s. And some of the like I struggle a little bit with some of like the rules of the world because it's like, but so for people who haven't seen it, it's a movie about it's like early 2000s, so everyone's very scared of computers and like so there's something in the computers that are it's like haunted and it's like drawing people in and drawing souls out from the other side. And so I struggle a little bit with like the rules. I still need somebody. I like need somebody to explain it to me. But there were the scares in that movie are so good. It goes to that like lo-fi like you're looking through a screen thing, and man, people just turn into shadows, and it's worth it just for like that aspect of it.
I really want to see it. In fact, I think somebody recently like kind of gifted me a copy of it on Blu-ray because they were like, "Hey, we have this thing, so give it to you." So I have it. I just need to watch it.
Yeah. It's like most things where it kind of falls apart in the third act, but I think it's definitely worth because I also just miss that time period. Those like the early 2000s. There's something just about it, that little that matrixy, everything is weird and computers are scary and
Yeah.
yeah. But there are good scares in that, so that was good. I also so this was my Halloween. Then we'll be up to date. I was like, we just like got charcuterie and we're like, I want to watch a scary movie, so we watched Trap, which was.
I was talking about that movie last night.
I was like, I feel like I have been cheated from my Halloween experience.
Oh, I would have told you it's not a scary movie. It's
No.
a ridiculous movie. It's a good movie to watch with friends and laugh at and, make fun of. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's very I mean, listen, M. Night is a nice guy and he literally he made it for his daughter so that she could sing. I get it. Totally get it. But man, it is just one big plot hole. And Josh Hartnett is
he's doing the work.
Good. He's
doing the work.
Oh,
He was carrying that movie on his shoulders. Like he's keeping people in the seats to be like, why am I still here? Josh Hartnett. That's why.
Yeah. And it's also a good movie to watch when you're like Thanksgiving, when you're with like a very mixed company with like lots of ages, because there's no boobs, there's not a lot of swearing. No. You don't really have to pay attention that much.
No, you can easily get up and if people start cleaning up and you'd be like, did I miss anything? You did not.
You did not.
You did not miss a thing. Because they left the stadium and they're in the house. Don't worry, I'll explain it to you. He somehow tricked her and got into her limo and got in there. Yeah.
It's like in the first half of the movie, it's just a person who is bad that we don't like and whose side we aren't on, trying to like escape a situation that isn't necessarily that dire because no one knows it's him. So it's just a guy walking around the stadium.
Also, so like dumb. the movie should be called "Can't Be Trapped" because the guy they can't trap him. No matter what, he can't be trapped. Like that's his superpower. He can't be trapped.
It's like we're in his trap.
We're in his exactly. Well, Haley Mills is in it. She plays the psychologist.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she was in the original Parent Trap.
Yes. Oh my God.
And he is a parent who's trapped. So.
Wow.
M. Night Shyamalan did it again, everybody. M. Night Shyamalan did it again. He got us. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing.
Funny.
I know. I had wished if that movie was like in a world where it was like really good, was that you keep an element of like, everybody, I'll say Die Hard because everybody knows Die Hard. But if you think of the movie, like, have you ever seen Sudden Death with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
No.
It's like a Die Hard situation. It's that time where they were like, let's make Die Hard, but it's Speed is Die Hard on a bus. This is on a this. Sudden Death is in a hockey stadium, and he's like a fireman, and he takes his kids to go see the Penguins.
I have seen this.
You probably
a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Powers Booth is the villain, and they're basically like Powers Booth. He's an incredible villain in it. He takes over this box with all these senators and he's doing all these evil deeds and he has to like go through the stadium and kick ass because he's Jean-Claude Van Damme, and then he's constantly checking in on his kids. And I was like, how cool would it have been if this movie was like that first bit of him kept trying to get out and he's like taking people out and he's tricking people and he's going around and he every now and then he has to check on his daughter, and it's like that, but it's with like the villain of the story. And you're following him along, trying to get out and trying to like take down the good guys. And I kind of disagree. I was on his side the whole time because it's Josh Hartnett. So I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you, my guy.
Yeah, I do love him. He was good, but it was also just like I don't want that person to die. But yeah. So by the end of that, I was just like, I feel cheated, and it was still early, so we watched Evil Dead Rise.
Oh, I love that.
Redeemed the situation. It was good. It was my only man yells at cloud moment is I just want. The director did some great, amazing visual stuff with it. Really, really nice. Just turn on a light. Just one.
Oh, it's very dark. Yeah,
it was so dark. It's so dark, and it's like there are entire scenes that were just lit by like an exit sign in a hallway, and it's like, my guy, you're doing such cool stuff. I want to be able to like, because everything was very monotone. The colors were very monotone, and then it was like super dark. And I'm like, you're doing these really cool things, and I want to like see it. But it was I liked it. It kind of hit. I kind of like peaked a little bit. Some of my like a little too gory, a little too violent here and there, where I couldn't really look. But because I'm not like a baby, but I have some limits. Yeah. But I liked it, and I also I love possession. I love like religious horror crap like
Uh,
that. It was all in there.
I have, so I'm gonna ask you about a movie, but real quick, a little antidote. So I rewatched Evil Dead Rise last year around Halloween,
Hmm.
and I don't know if you can see, but I have a Necronomicon.
Ooh.
It's like a full replica that I got on Etsy that somebody made. I got it. It was like a pandemic purchase because I was like, I'm gonna treat myself. So it's like a full book, and you can have it. So I rewatched it around Halloween one night, and the next morning, like I in the middle of the night, I thought I heard something, and the next morning I woke up and it had fallen off my shelf. No joke. I woke up and it was on the ground. It had never moved. It's way in the back. It's way in the back. It's propped up. It's got a prop to it. I don't know how it fell. I don't know
I
how it
knew.
fell. Yeah, I know.
Satan.
uh oh. I was like, uh oh. No. Speaking of, because you like possession and all that
Yeah.
stuff, have you seen When Evil Lurks?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I think that's such a great take on the
Yes.
possession genre, and that it's like a disease and
Hmm.
not just like a demonic force, but it's like, and if you don't follow the rules, and that movie's just, it's just like Dread the movie. It's just so good at creating
Yes.
such dreadful circumstances for everyone.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. That was really like the peak of my boyfriend being like, oh, like I can't. I could. Why did you do that? Why did you pick me?
Why
Like,
did you make me watch this? Yeah.
because it is. I mean, it's a brutal movie, but
Yeah.
it also was just, it was really really good and
It's great.
gross, and
Hmm.
yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
So that's, I think that's all. Those are all my. Oh, the only other thing I watched yesterday to celebrate the holiday is I watched some analog horror, which I'm really into as well. So I watched a couple. Like Local 58 has some new stuff
Mm.
out, and Briscoe Park is my new favorite analog horror, where it's like silent, there's no dialogue, it's just a person exploring this very crazy, wild, like crazy, not crazy wild. Crazy wild is not the right way to put it. Just like these like pastures and these like abandoned buildings in, like, it feels like they're in Wales or something, and it just
Mhm.
feels otherworldly. It's always completely dark, just illuminated by a flashlight, and like little things happen, but that are scary, and it's dread, but it's also gorgeous. So Briscoe Park, if you check
Briscoe
it out
Park. Okay,
on,
I'll
yeah,
check it
they're
out.
like
That's
they're
good.
like 4 minutes. It's like if you want to watch something and it's like 4 minutes, and you have your little pant scare. It's good.
Penske. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
So
I
that's
love
it.
that.
Those are it for me.
Cool. I basically talked about my other things are just a bunch of rewatches that I did. Like I talked about Scream. I rewatched Suspiria, Martyrs, which I love, the original French version. Um, have you
I
seen
don't.
Martyrs?
I'm trying to remember. I feel like I
I
have,
think you
but
would know
sometimes I
if
mix them up.
it's
Is
the
it?
one
Is it? Do they end? Is it end in like? Is it torture?
flame.
Is torture's a big thing?
Yes, there's a flame at the end. Yeah, there's a full skin removal thing at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think I don't that I feel like that might be a little, like, a
it's
little over
pretty.
my limit.
It's a pretty brutal movie. It starts at like, it pretty much starts at like 60, and then doesn't let out, and then it just gets crazier. Um, like it has torture, but I will say it's not torture porn.
Hmm.
Um, and it's brutal, and it kind of ends with like a flame. But it's like the story of it and like the reasoning is so crazy and smart, and the ending is just like, what did I remember the first time I watched it, I was at home and I watched it by myself, and I literally had to be like, I'm gonna put on a comedy show because I can't go to bed with this in my head. But now
Yeah.
I watch it like at least once a year, and my friend he's always like, how can you rewatch that film? I was like, I love it. I just really, really, and I'll tell you one thing. I think, and this is a bold statement, but I think French horror is my favorite horror. So far, they're my they make, because they did like Martyrs. I love Inside. Inside is that's a fucked up movie, but it's really good. And Mads, which is the recent one that I watched
Oh
this
yeah, I
year.
heard really good things about that. So yeah.
Mads is incredible. I highly
All
recommend.
right.
Inside is good. It might get a little gory for you. It might be
Mm-hmm.
a little. There's a little. It's not, again, but what's good about how they handle gore is they don't. It's not just like in your face. It's not Terrifier. It's not like Saw 4,000 whatever. It's like, yeah, we're gonna show you gore, but we're gonna earn it. We're gonna like get there. And that's what I like about it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
The French, they know dread. They
Yeah,
just know.
I can handle a bit. I think it's just sometimes it can be a bit much. I do feel like I watched Martyrs, but I think what I watched was like a film breakdown of it, of
Oh,
somebody
okay.
talking through
Yeah,
it. Um,
might have been.
so I think like removing myself that way is a nice way to experience it without experiencing it. So
Yeah.
That's probably a thing. We wanted to talk about Mundane Halloween. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, Mundane Halloween.
So I made a little. So I went through and I found like a few that I liked.
Yeah.
Um,
Person
this one over here, person seated far down the corner, signaling for wait staff. So it's somebody who's just like,
Yeah.
he's like carrying the
Yeah.
thing.
He's carrying like he's at a table with a menu. And it's this is just this thing where they in Japan where they dress up as mundane, but it's so specific and they go all out. It's like mundane activities, not scary, just right. And it's such a hilarious, amazing thing they've turned this into. Guy who grabbed a shopping basket but only ended up buying a couple of things. That's me. That's me.
Right?
That's always me.
You see.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I've got a
such a
couple
cool
here.
thing. Oh, first media review. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So another one is person being interviewed for news program whose face has been pixelated for privacy, and they just have like a mask with the pixelation on. The middle one is kind of one of my favorites. It's a hiking. Oh, I have it's something. There's something over it, but I can't. Oops. It's hiking. It's a hiking mannequin to sell hiking things.
Store mannequin. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just have like a black. I mean, this is for people who are listening on the podcast. You can go check out YouTube and see.
Definitely check out Mundane Halloween Japan.
Yeah.
And the guy who blows on the bottom of a video game cartridge before inserting it into the console. That's such a fun and then it's such a thing of you just carry around that console and you just carry around the cartridge and you blow it into it.
Yeah, and they have it. I think they have it on their. They have to have it like written on their thing so people can see. This next one's a guy who ran out to McDonald's for coffee and returns with spontaneously purchased French fries, which everybody in the office can smell.
I love the specifics too. They get into such great specifics. The guy just went to go get a coffee, decided, you know what, I'm going to get some French fries, came back, and now everybody can smell these French fries, and it's bothering everybody.
And it's and the whole thing is just him with a thing.
This next one. This one's great.
This is guy who doesn't have the right batteries for his remote control. And that's it.
And it's great because he's got a remote control and then he's got this box of batteries because that's been me so many times where it's like I have every battery known to man except for the ones that I need.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble reading this one. Fan who tries to make the heart symbol with a pop star, but she won't do it.
Oh, that's a good couple's costume.
Right. And it's just a guy holding up half a heart with his hand and her just...
and they're just like...
and she's got the thumbs up.
She's doing the thumbs up.
That's it. That's the whole costume. I like this one. This one made me so happy, though. Person whose job it is to bring the microphone to audience members in a Q&A session.
Oh, that is incredible. Yeah, the person that just runs down and that is incredible.
Because you never hear anything from them.
Yeah, no, they always just run down. You see them always like running down and just bringing it. Yeah. Oh, man, these are incredible.
Person who buys an umbrella because it's raining and then it stops raining.
And the guy, if you can't see it, it's like the guy's soaked and just holding his umbrella and he looks so distraught. And then it stops raining.
Yeah. This is another one of my favorites. He's someone who's locked himself out of his hotel room.
Oh, that's
a guy with 2 beers in a bathrobe.
Bathrobe, yeah.
Amazing. And I think the next ones might be... Oh, we're going into this year too. Oh, this is another one. This one has come as a customer in a crowded food court who went to get cups of water first and now can't find anywhere to sit. And then so I went and found there's a thread from this year. And so the best ones from this year, a person standing in line at the security checkpoint of an airport. So it's just a person holding 2 like buckets with all of their belongings inside of it. Very nice. Incredible. I can't. This is under something. I need you to read this one.
I can read it. Part-time worker paid to brace the fence at the front of a live concert, and the dude is just holding the fence while 2 people are jamming
rocking out.
Yeah, it's just like. And then the next one, photo of your dad when he was your age. It's just this guy. That's such a great, because he's dressed in this 80s like suit, but he's flashing this peace sign, but in a way that like, that's how like parents, like the way they looked. And that he captured that. So, and it's crazy because this is in Japan, but you can still relate that to so many American like parents and stuff.
Of course. Yeah. Like the cheesy smile.
That's perfect. That's the thing. They do so. It takes so little, but it's so like precise too. Like it's so much planning.
We also got guy who takes pride in never holding the handholds in the subway. So he brought like a whole pole, a subway pole to
Yeah,
put next to him, and then he's
but
just not touching it.
he's reading a book. Takes
And
pride.
the last one is my absolute favorite. Person who got sweater caught on a doorknob,
Oh, that's so good.
and it's just her sweater's kind of stuck out, and she's like leaning back. Too good.
Oh, that's incredible. I love these are so incredible. It made me I didn't really like think of it too much, but it made me want to do this for like Halloween sometime. It's just find the most mundane thing and like just create that into a costume.
Well, the other thing, oops, wait, let me find it. Why can't I find it? Mundane Halloween. Because I found something else. So there's another thing that America has become known for.
Okay.
Well, not known for, but it's like this is like a big trend this year was so it's I hate gay Halloween.
Yeah,
What do you mean you're
yeah, what do you mean you're that? I saw that. I saw that too. I hate guy. What do you mean you're there? And this one's the horse from We Live in Time. Yeah,
the crazy the horse,
horse
with the messed up eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so that's very, very funny.
I love that whole. I saw a whole feed on like, I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean you're? Yeah.
I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean you're? And this one is and these are more like meme based rather than like or like I don't know. But there's also that a little bit element of that specificity, but it's slightly less mundane. This guy is the girl from the woman from the video. It's so hard to explain to someone who's not watching. It's hard to explain. But there's like the video of the woman whose daughter was like, "Hey, Jesus came to Ohio," and she was like, "What? What?" She's like, "Just kidding." She's like, "Oh, why would you do that to me?" He's just like her.
He's just Rachel's mom when she heard Jesus was seen in Ohio.
Oh my God, show it to me.
Show me to me. Oh, this is what my friend did last night.
Oh, it's good. This is a very good costume. I mean,
this is what she did, and nobody understood, and that's why I want to make fun of her and dress up as it tonight at her party. Yeah, what do you mean your French children playing tribute to music legend Serge Gainsbourg in 1988? Yeah, this is what she did.
It's so like I can't believe that was real. That's a thing that really happened. Is all these kids drew on their faces and had.
And had little drinks and cigarettes and gave them gray hair to sing to this guy, and he's weeping while he's smoking this cigarette. If you watch, I watched the video last night, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is such a French thing." It's so that's hilarious. Yeah,
but and I get if you just saw somebody dressed like that, one person dressed like that, you'd be like, "Huh." But then if you see, then putting it in context is funny. I don't see too many of these, and these go together.
Oh, the the Willy Wonka chocolate experience.
Yeah. So one guy is the female Oompa Loompa from Glasgow's Willy's Chocolate Experience. Is that what it was called? Willy's Chocolate Experience?
Yeah. It was it was really weird. Oh, that's right. The unknown from the AI generated. Yeah, the unknown that they made. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean?
I actually totally forgot about this, and when it happened in my head, I literally deposited this would be a really good Halloween costume. I totally forgot about it. Because I would have 100% done this.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, also if somebody showed up like that, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
I don't have too many more of these. I can't read this one. Can you read the one? It's
I hate gay Halloween. Yeah, I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean? You're Steve Kornacki talking about Nebraska's 2nd congregational district. Jesus. You gotta be at home because this guy's using like a TV to like do the whole thing,
pointing at the things. And this is also kind of niche, but I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean you're the older gay who shoved Brittany Broski during the Apple Dance at the Sweat Tour in LA?
I don't even know any of those words. I don't know what any of those words are.
And that was the first one I saw, and I was like, "Oh, this is so funny." There's like a weird, that tiny moment of Brittany Broski getting like dancing at a thing, and like she kind of gets shoved out, and this guy gets it, and it's just that tiny moment, and he made a whole costume about it. I think that might be it for me. Oh no, there's one more. I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean you're Kristen Stewart petting Taylor Lautner on the tits in the Twilight Saga eclipse before the CGI? So.
The CGI.
She's just petting a guy wearing a CGI suit.
Yeah.
That's fine. Adorable. I think that's it. Yeah, that's everything.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I saw a couple more of those. I don't remember all of them, but I saw some that were really funny too. But I love that. But I'm so glad that I saw that one that my friend did last night that nobody, like, two people got, and I wanna troll her tonight and dress up as that and just be her and be like, I was you last night.
That is fun. Like it's like a little nesting doll of.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I just feel like we're gonna get real niche in there. We're just gonna eat our tails. Yeah.
But so what do you? So here are just a question because I have feelings. Mike Flanagan, who we love,
Mm-hmm.
I love at least. He's remaking Carrie.
Mm-hmm. As a TV show, right? Or no? Just
Maybe. That I'm not sure. I assumed it was a movie, but I guess he does TV
I might
shows.
be.
So
I might be. No, but he also does movies.
oh, okay,
He's done plenty of and Stephen King films because he did Doctor Sleep and Gerald's
yeah,
Game.
yeah.
But yeah, go.
I just my feeling like I'm kind of conflicted because he's great and he makes great stuff. But Carrie is it's in my top 10. It's maybe my top 5. I feel like it's so perfect. I don't know. It's one of those things that I don't know what you can add to it. You know, I don't
I
know.
no, I agree with you. It's hard when it's something. It's especially hard when it's something that you're like, this movie's perfect. It's one of, like, in the pantheon of, like, horror movies, of Stephen King horror movies. It's one of John Travolta's first films, if not his
Hmm.
first. Um, Sissy Spacek is incredible. It is. I looked it up to double check. It is a series.
Okay.
So to me, that makes me a little more interested because when it comes to Stephen King stuff, it seems to be really good when you make it into a series because there's
Mhm.
so much in the thing that they can't fit. And he's so good with TV shows that it makes me a little more hopeful that it's not just going to be a movie to revisit because
Mhm.
they did that sequel that nobody saw,
Yeah.
and then they remade it with Chloe Grace Mortis. I
Yeah.
think they
Yeah.
did a remake, and Julianne Moore.
Yeah.
Um, but I think him doing it as a series is really interesting because hopefully they'll dive more into the lore and more of the relationship and more of, like, maybe we get more history on the mother.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so that's cool. I think doing it as a series and with Mike Flanagan, that gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things I'm in a weird place about it. If we're just remaking the movie, I don't think I'd be into it. I think a series would be cool and interesting. And it is Mike Flanagan. I do trust him with, certain IP. So we're going to
He's great
say,
with Stephen King. He's great with
yeah,
Stephen King stuff. Yeah,
we're going to say thumbs up. I didn't like Dr. Sleep, but I think I'm in the minority for that. I think most people did.
I haven't seen it.
Um,
I need to watch it.
there's, we don't have to talk about this, but somebody discovered a new Bram Stoker book.
Really? Wait,
It's like
what?
a new, I can't, I just wrote it. Didn't grab the, article about it, but yeah, some like librarian found, like a novella.
Really?
Yeah, I can't find it right now,
Maybe I
but
did.
it's exciting. Maybe I'll drop
Maybe I
the.
Where
Sorry.
where did they miss? Oh, no, wait. Somebody.
It was like I don't know if it was like just
A fan
now or
discovers a new story by the author of Dracula.
yeah. So it's 130 years old.
I wonder how you just stumble upon that.
Yeah, it was someone who works in a library. That's
Yeah, that makes sense.
pretty much all I know. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
I would read that.
that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had. Oh, and the other thing that I have that I also didn't prepare because I was too busy making slideshows was there was a werewolf encounter story that was just it was like from the BBC and they thought it was lost to time and they just rediscovered it. And so it's like this 2-minute interview with a woman who was not attacked, but visited by werewolves. Um, so maybe I'll just drop that. I'll drop the audio in here
Mm-hmm.
later on and we can listen to that because it's just it's just a woman telling a story about like because there are these they found that there are these stone heads that she was like studying them and so she brought it into her house and then she like woke up and there was a werewolf in her house.
Because she took their stones.
Yeah, I think so.
That was their stones.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Do you believe in werewolves? Do you believe in all that stuff? Do you think do you think there's a possibility for werewolves and vampires and all that?
I think there's a possibility for werewolves, maybe. I think maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think of it as fiction, but
Yeah.
I mean, I spent a bunch of time talking about Bigfoot with my brother, and I went from not believing it to being like, huh,
It could be possible.
maybe. So
Maybe
at
there's
this point,
something out there. Yeah.
yeah. What do you
Yeah.
do? You think? Do you think it's possible?
I don't. I agree. Like it's one of those things. Like I'm not one of those people that goes, no, there's no such thing. Like get over it. But I was like, there could be something close to it or similar. I mean, I know it's all based on lists and lore, because like I always like I did a. This isn't werewolves, this is vampires, but I did a vampire tour when I went to New Orleans, and it was incredible. I highly recommend it. We had a really great guide too. Our
Mm-hmm.
guide was incredible. She was incredible. Um, but like she told like a bunch of cool stories, and I think sometimes people forget this, that New Orleans has a lot of vampire lore, because they know that it has like ghosts and zombies, but it has a
Mm-hmm.
lot of vampire lore. Um, but it's funny. I was with my ex on the trip, and she told one story, because there's this church in the French Quarters, and you see it, it's very well known. I forgot the name of it, and like above at the top of the church, there's like these windows, but they're like kind of boarded up. You can't like see them, and she's like, those are like nailed shut from the outside. And that's what she said. And we're like, oh, and she goes, they believe that the church would keep like creatures of the night, like vampires and damned creatures in there, and that's conceal them and da da da. That was like the folklore. And if you ever see the windows open, like run. And like there's a story of the women that were walking by it late at night after partying, and one of the doors is open, they're like one of the windows open, and like they got attacked. But she did tell us a story, and take it with a grain of salt. Is it a story she made up? Did she actually hear this story on her tour and that person made it up? But she said that one time she was giving the tour, and one of the guys on the tour was a Marine, or he was in the Army, and it was during Katrina when they were evacuating people, and he was part of a platoon or group. I'm sorry if I mess up with the exact Army terms, but he was part of a group that they were like, hey, we're going to go into this church and check everything out. And that his commanding officers were like, when we go up there, you get in, you get out. Don't look around. Don't look for, like, he was like, just unless you see something alive, get out. Like, or if you don't, like, it was very like don't